Hey everybody, what's going on? It's your girl, Dr. Intimacy. You're tuned into Inspired Intimacy Talk Radio, where we're having naked discussions about love, life, and intimacy every Wednesday night here at FBRN.US in the Blue Stream in the beautiful city of Arlington, Texas. It's going to be hashtag No Sucks in the studio tonight with my special guest, the one and only Mr. George E. Baker III. What's going on, George?
How you doing, Dr. Intimacy? It's a pleasure to be here once again.
It is a pleasure to have you as always. I am super duper excited about the topic and just thrilled that it's going to be you that I'm actually having this particular naked discussion with. And of course, as always, J Revival here in the house. Open out.
Thank you so much, Dr. Intimacy.
Yes, yes. So we have a special assistant, Evelyn, hiding over there. I'm just going to say her name. She's not going to say anything. She turned all red. Yeah, but I am so grateful for the help. We always need it, always need it. But man, I am so excited. So of course, yesterday was V-Day.
It was the day.
As many say, the pagan holiday, Valentine's Day, the eve of Valentine's.
Yes, just evil and terrible.
Yes, yes. But you know, of course, a lot of people call it Single Awareness Day because it does make people very aware of their singleness. I like to call it Annual Heartbreak Day. Why? Because it's not just for single people that Valentine's Day makes us more aware of their singleness, but it can also make you more aware of the emptiness of the relationship that you're in. It can make you more aware of the disappointments and failures of your current relationship and how it may not be living up to the expectations that you've placed on it. And so I call Valentine's Day Annual Heartbreak Day, you know, or Annual Loneliness Day, because it stirs up a lot of feelings. And that is what caused me to come up with the topic, the title, When the Unhealed Heart Tries to Love Again. But you, George Baker, you are the one that came up with that, Confessions of a Love Chaser. And I'm so blown away when you said it. What was on your heart when you constructed that title?
Well, Confessions of a Love Chaser is kind of my own personal journey of going from always feeling like that the next relationship, okay, this is the one. This is the one that's gonna fix me. This is the one. And in searching for that, you look in the wrong place, you look at the wrong people, all because you're looking for something that you really don't even have a definition of. You know, we say love, you can ask 100 people what love is, you can get 100 different answers. And because as we go through this, everyone has their own definition of love. You know, what's love to me may not be love to you. So I'm in speaking a different language, and for years, I went from in my 20s being very cold-hearted, being, hey, if a relationship ended, hey, I just go find somebody else. It was, you know, it was like, hey, I used to tell women, you look better going than you ever did coming.
Oh, wow.
But in my mid-30s, I guess my heart softened and I wanted love.
Yeah, a lot of things start to soften on men in their mid-30s.
Okay.
It brings them to a different state of awareness where they might better settle down.
It was like when I turned 35. When I turned 35, I felt like I need to settle down. I want to be this family man that I actually had the opportunity with my early 20s, but I wanted to be reckless. So I ended up divorced. You know, but I hit 35. I was like, hey, I need to settle down. I want a family. I want for stability. And so it was like I went on this. I just had it in my mind that if I met a woman, you're it. I'm gonna give you all of me. And I found myself pouring a gallon of love into a 6-ounce cup. and I found myself feeling depleted and feeling like I've wasted love, I've wasted myself. But I'm going to do it again. Because still the whole, from my days of promiscuity, going from one sexual relationship to the next, I in my 30s, I began going from one emotional entanglement to the next. It was, I wanted love, so if I met you, I am going to give you my love. I'm gonna show you that I'm worthy of of I can love you the right way, and eventually you'll love me and I didn't even care if I got love back.
Right.
I just wanted somebody to love.
Right. And when we spoke about this, we talked about moving through a lot of different relationships, and also how even in your older years as a man of God, as a preacher, that these things still weren't resolved.
No.
These issues weren't resolved. And we tend to think sometimes, especially I think in the church, we think that age denotes maturity.
It doesn't.
But they're not always the one and the same. I mean, you can age without maturing.
Yes,
you can get real old and wrinkled and still have the mentality of a teenager, of a youth.
My grandmother used to always say that no will get over. And what happens is that because I've grown up, because I'm older, or because I'm in the church, because I'm in ministry, that now I'm qualified, I'm ready to be loved. Mm-hmm. And I was preaching, going, revivals, conferences, crusades, conventions, from city to city, state to state, looking for love. And although, yes, I was committed to the work of God, I was committed to the call on my life, but don't get it twisted, because if I was naked and saw a beautiful woman, oh, hey, my name is George. What's your name? What's your sign? You know how we do.
Wow. So that's a little nugget to get the show set up. Okay, we're getting things. We just laying the foundation here for what we're about to get in tonight. I am super excited about it. Matter of fact, let me read this little write-up that I did for the show because it was so cool. Cover on Facebook. It says it's the day after Valentine's and you've woken up to reality. Maybe you woke up alone. Maybe you woke up next to someone who is not rightfully yours. Maybe you woke up next to someone you regret lying down with. Maybe you woke up to the disappointment of what your significant other did not do for you. No matter which is true, if you woke up feeling like love has somehow passed you by again, you are a love chaser. So tonight, the show is about the confessions of a love chaser, what it looks like when the unhealed heart tries to love again. So we're going to dig into the meat of this when we come back. Just a quick song break to get you guys started. I thought it was a perfect song to open up this show. Bleed in Love. We're going to hear Bleed in Love, and we're going to dig into this. The Unhealed Heart and Confessions of a Love Chaser on Inspired Intimacy Talk Radio with Dr. Intimacy and George E. Baker. George, you got to situate with this mic. You are way too far away. Ready to pause this?
No. It just stays live though.
Oh, okay.
Thanks for asking.
Oh, my sister's watching.
Hey, sister, if you want to put the mic over here and tilt it this way to you,
yeah, that's
but you're looking at me, so you have to make sure, like, if you want to turn it on, I don't want to do it.
Make sure they don't get us blasted off again. Turn that down.
I say I completely lost you in this camera.
Let's
Hey, Facebook, we got 2 cameras going here, so we're trying to get this situated. Just bear with us. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. Type your comments in Facebook Live. I'm going to be looking at your comments. My lovely assistant over here is going to be reading the Facebook Live comments for me so we can be interactive tonight.
And if I may say, let me say hi to my sister who I see is watching, Lisa Baker Morgan, who has seen me through all of my heart breaks. Because whenever my heart was broken, I just went to her house and slept on her couch with the covers over my head.
How do you see who's watching it?
It just shows who's.
It sometimes shows.
All right, I want you to practice on tape.
Okay. How?
Well, it's good. It's just that when you start moving around, you go away from it.
Okay.
Gotta stay in that mic because we don't want like a poor sound quality of your voice fading in and out.
Okay. I will keep it right here,
Okay.
madam. Yes, massa.
Sorry, you guys have to watch all of this. I love my George though. He is decked down too in this nice gray suit with his peach button down on. I'm telling you.
It is coral.
Oh, excuse me.
Thank you. You know, coral may be salmon, but not.
Salmon. Oh, that's making me hungry. I have salmon at home.
Yeah, I know, right? I just
All right, so Facebook Live, we're doing a little song break, but we're about to jump back into the topic now. I need a pen, Jay Revival. Hey to all my Facebook Live viewers, who we got? Crystal. Hey, Crystal. Wanda, what's up? Otis, what's going on? Erica. Hello, Erica. Give me a shout out. Who's on Facebook Live? Where you at? Where are you from? Where you watching from tonight? Let us know.
My nephew just tuned in.
Now, did you share from?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
My nephew Damien, what's going
All right.
on, Damien?
All right. 3, 2, 1.
Hey everybody, this is Dr. Intimacy, Simple Inspired Intimacy Talk Radio. We are having naked sessions about love, life, and intimacy. Hashtag no socks. That's right, we're stripping all the way down to the socks here in the studio tonight with our topic, Confessions of a Love Chaser. When the unhealed heart tries to love again. What a mess that can be sometimes.
Yes,
We're at RUS right here in the Blue Stream, Arlington, Texas. Yes. So anyway, we're talking about, I just jump off kind of like on Valentine's Day, because it's like the day after there's this reality. I mean, I had to get delivered from Valentine's Day depression. I really did. I really used to struggle with it because there are these huge expectations of what is supposed to happen. There are all of these ideals of romance plastered all over media. Hallmark cards are everywhere. You can't go anywhere without seeing the images of what society says love is, which a lot of times is a misrepresentation. It's a false representation of what love is. Some of what we see portrayed in society is really lust. Some of it is infatuation. Some of it is friendship. Some of it is just straight out fornication. And yet, it is presented to us as if this is what you should have. This is what is supposed to be in your life. So like you said before the break, a lot of people are running around looking for something that they don't even know how to accurately identify. So when you finally find what has been portrayed through the media, when you find what you saw on the Hallmark Channel or the Lifetime Movie Network, or you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
When you finally find it, you're like, wait, hey, this is love? And there's a second level of heartbreak that sometimes is more devastating than the first heartbreak when you were alone. Finding quote unquote love can be more
in life, inside love, you realize you're not about your. Or, you know, because what happened, I have invested my emotions, I've invested my time, and only to find out that what I thought I loved about you wasn't real. And so now what do? I blame myself. I never should have trusted her. I never should have trusted him. I never should have. I never should have taken the chance. I never should have taken the risk. But when I don't even know what I'm looking for, how do I really say that I love you and I don't even know what love is? If I don't, because with everything in life, it's about comparison.
Mm-hmm.
Is that this is the template. If you take a test in school, the instructor has the template with all the right answers. We're out here taking a love test, but we don't even know any of the answers.
Mm.
So when I ask you, what's your sign? What's your favorite color? Because I think those are the things I'm supposed to ask. To find, to determine my love, to develop love. But what if the test I'm giving is not the proper test?
Mm-hmm.
What if I'm not asking the right questions? What if I've asked the wrong questions all my life, but it's all I know?
And I think you said one of the most disappointing things is you give your love to somebody that's not
who you thought they were.
You're not who they thought they were. I'm gonna say I think one of the most disappointing things is when I paint a certain ideal of myself and how I'm going to give love, and I find out I'm not who I thought I was.
And that's part of it too, because many times we think, especially as men, and I can talk for the men, because we feel like as men, I have all the answers. If you just sit back and let me handle this, because by nature we're fixers. Let me fix this, and so I can come to you in your brokenness, but I can fix you. But then I find out 6 months down the road that I don't. Not only do I not know what's wrong with you, but even if I did, I don't even have the tools to fix you.
Right, exactly.
So now what I do is, like most men do, I'm going to flip the script and tell you that it's your fault.
Mm.
Rather than saying because we don't like to say we don't know. So what I say is, well, she's crazy, and I move on to the next.
Right.
And I take my deficient bag of tools to the next relationship, and when I can't fix her, well, she's crazy too.
Right. And as women, and that definitely is the case with men, as a love chaser, as a matter of fact, male or female, I think one of the defining factors or characteristics, one of the defining characteristics of a love chaser is that we determine our value based on our ability to love somebody into quote-unquote wholeness.
Yes.
So now my value is going to be determined on how you receive my love, how you respond to it. The more, as a love chaser, you have a tendency, and I mean I'm speaking from experience, as a love chaser, then I have a tendency now to gravitate toward the most broken person I can find, the most unhealthy relationship I can find.
Yes.
That's the relationship that I want. Why? Because I'm so compassionate and sympathetic. No, I think there's some other hidden agenda, and the hidden agenda is the points that I'm gonna get in my own self-perception. That wow, if I can take this person that is this broken, this messed up, man, if I can love this person into something healthy and whole, I am the bomb. So sometimes we're on an ego trip. It is a pride thing. Our motives are not even pure for the love that we try to implement in somebody's lives. We're trying to determine our own value based on how they respond to what we think we're giving. And when it doesn't work, when we don't get the result that we wanted, when they don't respond the way we wanted to, when we see that the nurture is not bringing them to that place of greatness that we thought it would, now all of a sudden our whole self-worth is shot.
Yes, and a lot of times society tells us that it's usually just women that are chasing love, but I really believe that there are more men love chasers than women. I see. We hide because we are born pursuers. We are the hunter-gatherers. So what we do is, I see a woman, And I feel like, okay, this is the woman I want. And if she'll just give me the chance, I will show her that I am the greatest lover. I'm the greatest man. I'm the greatest friend she'll ever have. And so we're looking for somebody, for people who are going to give us that validation. And the only people that will just always give you that validation tend to be those who are more broken than you. Because two whole people in a relationship, yes, they love each other, yes, they appreciate each other, but they don't need that constant validation. They don't need that every 5 minutes, tell me how good I look. Tell me how good it is, tell me how good I make it. Whole people don't need all that. But because I've been taught as a man that I need my woman is supposed to tell me how good I am in all areas. So I find somebody who tells me that. And what happens is that I'm broken, you're broken. All we really do is break each other up that much more.
Right.
Two broken people will never fix one another. Matter of fact, you'll do more damage you do more damage in your brokenness, even if it's unintentional. You come out with it. There's no one who has ever came out of a relationship with a broken person that stayed whole themselves. It is impossible.
And those broken hearts, those shattered hearts. If you look at images of broken hearts, they are often images of shattered glass. And when you think about it from that perspective, if you've ever broken glass and attempted to pick it up, the only end result of that is that you are about to get cut up. So if you take a shattered heart and you attempt to pick that heart up and take it into your bosom, there's only one end result of that. That shattered glass is going to cut you. And your shattered glass is going to cut them. So when you bring these two broken pieces together, all you have is a puzzle of more broken pieces. And when you see broken glass, it's often impossible to put the glass back together. The more shattered it is, the more pieces there are, the more difficult it is to define what goes where. And a lot of times it's even impossible. And so you think about the impossibility of these situations that we get into where we're entering into a relationship broken with another person that's broken, and we're going to take all of these broken pieces, get all cut up, but it's like we take these broken pieces and we put them in a bag and shake them up.
Shake it up, and what comes out? More brokenness.
More broken pieces.
And even when the worst thing, I remember when I was a child, and if I would knock an ashtray or a vase off the table, even when you try to, because most of the time we try to use love as self-medication, and I run from, because I got hurt in the last relationship, so now I'm going to overdose on the next relationship to try to heal myself. But have you ever seen somebody trying to put something back together? There's always going to be a chip or a piece somewhere that you just didn't see, and it becomes a place and a point of weakness and deficiency in. And what's happened is we've tried to put ourselves back together like Humpty Dumpty. We try to put ourselves back together with the next relationship, but we forgot about the piece you left with that other person, and so you're still broken. You may have 99 out of 100 pieces, but it's that 100th piece that is yet still an entryway for more brokenness to come into your life.
Yes. That is good. If you guys want to call in and make a comment or ask a question, 214-431-5062, 214-431-5062. Confessions of a Love Chaser, when the unhealed heart tries to love again, is what we're talking about tonight. Our naked discussion on Inspired Intimacy Talk Radio with Dr. Intimacy and George E. Baker. And I'm really enjoying this conversation because I think that it really speaks to where a lot of people are at, especially when you talk about people that are churchgoers and believers. I think we have a tendency to feel like we will be delivered out of this, that somehow we can praise over this.
Yes.
That, you know, if the sermon is good enough, if we praise loud enough, if we run enough circles around the church, if the offering is big enough, if we lay at the altar long enough, if the right person lays hands on us, you know, if we sit a little bit closer to the pulpit, maybe if we make it up to the front row. What if we get in the pulpit? Maybe if I get on the worship team, or I become a deacon or an usher, and we look for things in the church to address. We look for things in the church to actually fix this without addressing it. So instead of addressing it, we dress it.
Yeah. And what we and what we find ourselves doing is, you know, oil and water don't normally mix, but in a centrifuge, if you spin it, it'll. But once it slows down, it separates. Caller.
Hi, caller. You're live on the air with Dr. Intimacy. Do you want to join our naked discussion? All right, great. What's your comment?
Love and trying to start over and stuff like that. I basically think like that is so true, but also you have to know what you're looking for in a relationship. I think it's most important about the person's background, how they was raised, you know, the morals that they have, you know, basically. And what you see in a glass, sometimes you see it's a nice glass, but it could be chipped, but people still want it, you know. So people, they see flaws in other people, and then they just, you know, they get blinded by the outside, you know, by the look of it. You know, what is more deeper than it is. You know what I'm saying? So.
Do you think, and that's a good observation. I want to ask you, you said that you need to know what you're looking for in a person and find out what their background is and what their moral viewpoint is and so on and so forth. But how much bearing does that really have on the relationship if the person is broken? Does the foundation supersede or usurp the brokenness?
Yes.
You think it will? What do you think about that, George?
You know, when we idealize things about if a person is raised the right way, but you can be raised in the perfect family setting if there is such a thing. But listen, there is no such thing as totally functional. Everybody has some dysfunction somewhere. It's a matter of how much dysfunction can you handle. And a lot of times what, you know, people hide behind, well, I came from a good family, I had a good upbringing. But that doesn't, and I'm talking about people who were raised in the church, raised by pastors, raised by the good missionaries and mothers and bishops. But that doesn't make them whole. That doesn't make them relationship ready. They want the relationship because they've heard all their life, you know, you grow up, you get married. And they do that, but have they really been prepared? Because you have seen your parents that were together for 40, 50 years, but they were together 40, 50 years and were miserable.
That's true.
You know, they were together all that time because they came from a time that you just stayed together no matter what. It didn't matter if the husband had 7 affairs, you stayed. And so coming from that seemingly stable nuclear family, they come into a relationship saying, well, hey, if he cheats, oh well, because that's what men do.
What do you have to say about that, Colin?
That is so true. That is so true. So it kind of varies on what are you looking for and what you're able to deal with in a relationship. And I get it. You know, that makes a lot of sense. And like, you know, me personally, you know, like, I was raised up in a good home. I had my mother and father, went to Catholic school, etc. My father used to beat my mom. And growing up seeing that, everybody was always petrified of my pops. And I always didn't want to be like him. Because everybody used to always say they stereotype, apple don't fall too far from the tree. Was not true. And I grew up being passive and being the one to take in abuse. You know, like, And I had to come to grips in my early 20s, like, you know, women don't put their hands on men. Men is not supposed to put their hands on women. But, you know, I sort of felt like, you know, I know what I can do, so being hit by a woman I felt like that was okay, which it wasn't. So it had to take me to grow and understand, like, what am I looking for in a woman? You know what I'm saying? And you know, it's just that, and it's just crazy, like, and I don't know.
Did you have a tendency being, and that is common, that people that grow up around abuse, they will either become abusers or they will passive. It usually goes one or the other. Did you find yourself attracting abusive, violent women?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Well, thank you so much for sharing your insight. I think you said something really, really powerful that's important for everybody to understand, and I want to reiterate. You said you have to know what you're able to handle, because everybody comes broken, and like you said, the glass might be shattered and glued back together and still look appealing to some people. They want that broken glass, and that's fine, but you better know what you're getting into if you can handle that broken glass or not. So I think you made a very valid point, and thank you so much for sharing your experience.
Yes, and I thank you. I thank you what you're doing, and you are so inspiring. I'm telling you. And I'm originally from the Bronx, but I was raised in Staten Island. And to keep it short, I want to put out a book, because I've been through so much in my life, and I've been through so much. Like, and when I tell people my story, they say, you need to write a book. You need to write a book. And I'm just, you know, that's where I'm at right now. I'm about to write a book, and you're the one that making me write the book. So it's like, you know, like, I'm so happy to even speak to you on the static, you know, so.
Oh, wow, and thank you so much. And hey, I have a publishing company, so shoot me an email or a Facebook message, and I might be able to help you with that, okay?
Okay, I would love to. And I want to, like, if I will send you an email, and if we could talk later on, I would like to give you like a brush through on basically what I'm talking about.
Okay, sweetheart. Well, just shoot me the email, and I'll definitely contact you, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you. Whoop, whoop, shout out New York.
New York.
But, you know, I had a thought when he was talking, George. It hit my spirit so strong. It's one of those infamous one-liners. You attract the brokenness that you are.
Yes, you do.
You attract the brokenness that you are. So if your brokenness is promiscuity, you attract a promiscuous person.
Yes, you will.
If your brokenness is passiveness, then you'll attract violence. You know, if it's abuse, then that's what you attract. You attract the brokenness that you are.
Yes.
What's that look? What?
Because see, I'm thinking about. I must have all kinds of brokenness, because I have attracted so many.
You're having flashbacks.
So many different types of crazy in my life.
Well, you know what? Let's get hashtag no socks right now. I want to get transparent. I want you to tell me, and you've shared a lot of things with me in private, because in case you didn't know, in case it's not jumping across the airways, me and George, we're very close friends.
Yes.
I mean, this is my close friend. So I don't say anything that you don't want me to say over the air, but I want you to talk to us as transparently as you feel comfortable with where you were at when you met me, and how that even impacted our relationship.
When you and I first met, I was newly divorced. Or was I going to divorce? It was one of the two. And I had defaulted to my, well, time to go find another woman. I mean, that's how I felt. You know, and even talking with guys, we would talk about things on social media, and then we would talk on the phone. And of course, you know, because in my mind, I ain't no fake. I'm Grace man that lived. So, because you spoke such peace to the rage that was inside me, because you helped me realize a lot of my anger issues, a lot of my own broken, and no one had ever talked to me like that before. You know, my dealing with women was, you know, tended to have been, okay, let's talk for a little while, and if this is not leading to the bedroom, what are we even talking about? You know that were, because
that's hashtag no suck.
Out of my brokenness, I felt like I've always between these where some men look at sex as a pleasure thing. I always saw it as a power thing. I have to show you that I'm the best there is. You have to tell, and I'm going to make you tell me that. You're going to tell me, George, you are the greatest.
So I gotta ask you a question now. You know, hashtag no socks question. You are a preacher.
Yes.
So you must be talking about from long ago,
no,
right?
No,
this was like
I'm talking about even as a preacher.
Wow.
Even as a preacher, and even though in ministry I was never I was never promiscuous in ministry, but when I would, I went for the gusto. I had to make an impression. You know, as Pastor Creflo Dollar is making a mark that can't be erased, I was going to do that too. You were going to remember me.
Oh my goodness.
You were going to put me in the pantheon of the greats.
Wow.
But you know, because because even being a minister, even as a man of God, even as a pastor, all that, in my brokenness, I needed that validation that I'm just the greatest lover there is, because I tied so much of my manhood to it.
Wow.
And as men, we attribute so much of my manhood, of my potency, to my sexual performance, and it causes us to that. If I've been in a relationship and I've been having sex on a regular, it's hard to turn it off.
That's true.
So that when I, all my comic book fans, it's like Galactus. When they hug on the eat whole planet.
Wait, I gotta ask you a question now.
Yes.
So I'm thinking about when I met you, because we've never actually gone this deep into this conversation. Apostle George B. Baker. I had to throw that in there, right?
Okay.
No, but George, and I appreciate your transparency. But I'm thinking about some of the conversations that we had when I met you, and even the way that my spirit responded to you when we met, and your speech was in such a way that I always, and I'm very discerning. And it was interesting because you met me at a really broken time of my life. I was really going through something.
Oh, wow.
Emotionally, my soul was really going through something, but my spirit it was sharp. You know, that spirit is always sharp, and I always felt like you were trying to conquer me with words.
Yes.
Like you would send me these messages. And Jay Revival can attest, man. I mean, I'd show him one every once in a while, because this was before we were real close. I'm like, you see this dude? Are you serious? You know, and you'd send me these messages.
Hey, I'll be using it in my lines, young man.
You
You have to be at least in your mid-30s to handle that, because words like that will break your jaw, man.
Yeah, I was like, man, I said, this guy could write a book. He has the smoothest lines of any man that has ever approached me in life. But my spirit was rejecting what you were saying, because I felt like you were trying to conquer me, and I was very aware of what was going on. Now, not from the standpoint of what you're telling me right now, because I really didn't know what your issue was at that time. All I know is that even though I was looking for love and I wanted to be in a relationship, I could not receive what you were saying to me on that level, because it was not coming from a pure place, and I felt it.
But because my thing at that time was that I had come out of a marriage
Mm-hmm.
that was very painful. So I will say this, my ex-wife, I think she loved me as best she knew.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really not that easy to love. You know, I had to come to that realization about myself. But because there was so much rejection in coming out of that marriage, I began to question myself. So I defaulted to what I knew. I'm George. Women don't turn me down. That was my men, and you know, I said, you all cute and such.
So you were planning on, you were trying to bed me, George? Were you
No,
planning on bedding
no,
me?
no.
You said that's what you do.
It was,
you
know
said
what?
if the conversation is not leading to eventually the bedroom.
I said back then, listen, okay.
Hey,
All right,
I'm just
all
trying.
right.
I'm just trying to define now. I'm trying to define.
As you know what? Here is the funny part. That as I have gotten older, sex isn't the goal for me like it used to be.
Gotcha.
My thing was that because I enjoyed the stability of marriage and a solid relationship, okay, she's going to be the next Mrs. Baker.
Gotcha.
You know, it's almost like, you know, it's like you go to a car lot. You know, you're in a car, but you pull up on the lot looking for another one. I'm going to trade this one. So I was like, okay, well, I no longer have that one, so let me get another one. You know, because, you know, like I said, I'm old now, so you know, just the whole, just sex for the sake of sex, that's not that. Now, if you never was 40, yeah, then yeah. Yeah.
So in your and I really want to help people and talk about this. In your position as a I think this is a situation with a lot of people that when you're in a relationship, you immediately
Yes. And that's where I was.
Be alone. And I'm definitely guilty of that. I'm one of the people like, no, I'm not gonna be alone. There has to be someone here for me to pour my love into. I don't feel functional or whole. I can't even think straight if I don't have somebody to give this love to, because my whole value is defined in giving love. But there's something so broken about that, because the matter is that pure agape love can be dispersed to people everywhere, to your children, to your family, to strangers. We don't have a romantic connection to pour love out, and that's how you know the agenda is not pure. Why does it have to be the kind of a romantic relationship that I find wholeness and love? How am I going to say wholeness with my mother, love a stranger, love people at the church? And that's because as a love chaser, you're not just giving love expecting nothing in return. You're giving love looking for that reward.
And then we live in a society where being single is almost, and especially within the church, it's almost like being single is you're almost like a leper. Because in the church, and I've been guilty of it. You know, we get up and we preach it's better to marry than to burn, and he that finds a wife finds a good thing. And so we elevate marriage and relationships to almost mythic proportions that everybody should want. So that, you know, we never give people the time to become satisfied and be whole in their singleness.
This is true.
Because as a pastor, I felt like I have to have a first lady.
Right.
I have one. I'm not, you know, there's something missing. When I go places to preach, I'm supposed to have, you know, I'm supposed to have something pretty, you know, with a big hat and high heel shoes with the rhinestones on the heel, on the front row, so I can say, that's my boo.
And there is something about, especially being in ministry, that makes you feel defective when you're alone. You do.
Yeah.
And I think more so, too, when you're divorced. When you're divorced, it's like you're never single anymore. Even if you look at an application and they want to know your marital status. The options are married, never been married, divorced. It's not like you could just be married or single.
Yeah.
Once you are divorced, you are labeled defective forever. And you know what you are when you're divorced? You're refurbished. It's like we're refurbished now. So you can never be a new computer. You can never be a new TV or a new phone. You're a refurbished phone. And if you've ever shopped refurbished, you know that thing can look brand new. It can be completely reconditioned, but the value is greatly reduced. And I think when you come out of a relationship, when you're divorced, or even if you've just been in a long-term, common law marriage situation where you've been in a long-term committed relationship, you feel refurbished. Your value has been diminished. And it makes you that much more inclined to be in another relationship so that your value can be restored. Well, I'm refurbished, but look, somebody still wanted to buy me. There's a difference between, let's say, a refurbished iPhone and a refurbished flip phone Motorola.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That iPhone is still going to be up there in the high hundreds.
Yeah.
That refurbished Motorola might cost $15. And so we're trying to see, okay, well, even though I'm coming out of this relationship and I'm quote unquote defective and refurbished now, am I an iPhone or am I a Motorola?
Yeah. Am I old Nokia 3310?
Yeah, we're trying to jump into this new relationship to get that validation and to prove, hey, I still have maximum value.
And there is nothing in the world that is so ugly is such a strong word, but I have to throw it. It's somebody who has something to prove by showing you that I can be in a relationship. Because because when you become a love chaser, you actually, although you are seeking value, you are actually diminishing your value because you don't consider yourself worth waiting for.
Wow.
If I'm worth it to you, and men, brothers, we are worth waiting for. And as men, because we don't like to wait, we don't consider ourselves worth waiting for. Sometimes you may meet the very perfect person for you, but it might not be at the right time. Let me get whole, because the last thing I want to do, if I meet you and I'm loving you, the last thing I want to do is break you.
Right.
So maybe I need to step back and work on me, because if I'm not whole, I'm going to break you. It is inevitable. I will break you. As I was taking my notes, I thought about something came to my and I wrote it down. In a relationship, if my life does not change for the better, it's going to be first.
Wow, that's so good.
Because what's going to happen is this. If I'm loving you correctly, here's what happens. I'm going to cheat. If I cheat on you, that's going to make you better. And now the love that should have made me better is making you worse.
Wow. You hear that, caller? If my love for you is not making, what did you say?
If my love for you does not change me for the better, it's going to change you for the worse.
Woo! Caller, you are live on the air with Dr. Intimacy and Georgie Baker. Do you want to join our discussion?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, what is your comment? Where are you calling from, by the way?
I'm calling from Nashville, Tennessee.
All right. Thank you, Nashville in the house. What's your comment?
This conversation is absolutely phenomenal. And as one that is newly divorced for the second time, I am in the position of trying to understand what I am doing wrong. Oftentimes when you divorce someone or when a relationship ends,
we tend to point to blame at everybody else. And I'm just trying to figure out, is it me? And what is it about me? And am I chasing after the wrong thing? But one thing that I'm learning is that I love love, absolutely love. And it doesn't have to be romantic love. I know that I love people. I love the elderly, the young, the old. And I love to help people foster wholeness in people, should I say. But I'm understanding that I can't do that in and of myself. We are in a society where we absolutely have ulterior motive of loving one another. Our love is predicated upon what I'm going to get, what I'm going to receive, or even my ego being built up because of who I love. And I'm so in a place now where I'm trying to love just because, not because of what I'm going to get.
Hold on, caller. Go ahead, sis from Tennessee.
Not because of what I'm going to get in return, but just because it's what I'm supposed to do. It's what I'm called to do. It's who I am if Christ is in me.
Right.
And so I think that we have to give those kinds of values to our children and to our children's children, because everyone in the millennial generation, I won't say everyone, but a lot of the millennials, they don't even understand what love is.
Right,
love
right.
is just based upon what they're going to get in return.
So in you being newly divorced, how long have you been divorced?
This time I've been divorced for about a month and a half.
And how long were you divorced between the two marriages?
So my children's father and I divorced after 15 years of marriage. I was divorced for 6 months before marrying me.
Okay. So you definitely didn't give yourself a chance to heal. So having gone through that process, what are you going to do differently this time? Because you've been married for, a number of years now, and you're used to that. How are you going to transition now into that healing process and being single? What are your thoughts? Quickly.
Well, it's just a matter of understanding me and not looking at the other person.
Right. That is awesome. Thank you so much, Nashville, Tennessee. Your comments were so insightful, so powerful. I really appreciate it. Don't even have anything to add to it. It was just wonderful, and we just pray for you on your journey of just being delivered from being that love chaser. And please let us know how it goes. Stay in touch with us.
Thanks so much.
All right, thank you so much. Hi, caller from 580 area code. You're live on the air with Dr. Intimacy and George Baker. Did you call to join our naked discussion?
Right?
Yeah, where are you calling from? We can't hear you. Bad connection.
Call from Lawton, Oklahoma.
Lawton, Oklahoma. Okay, I'm not sure we're going to be able to keep you on. The connection is real bad. What's your comment?
Well, I was text to call in. I was listening to the conversation about relationships, really being single and being very cautious of being involved with relationships because of, what you've been through, what you've been through. And I've actually been married twice myself. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
I never give up still what I love. I still believe in love is the atmosphere, and I believe I'm not going to just set myself apart to be single, afraid to love me.
Okay, we were having trouble hearing that caller. I'm sorry, caller from Lawton, Oklahoma. We lost you. We couldn't hear you too well. He was saying to be careful in being single. Make sure you be careful.
Yeah. You have to be careful. Matter of fact, let me give you one of my PowerPoints.
Okay.
Desire becomes deadly when your demons have not been dealt with. Desire becomes deadly because now if I haven't dealt with my demons, I can get what I want and I'll still destroy it.
Wow, wow, wow.
You can be everything I want and everything I say I want in a woman. And I have you. But if I haven't dealt with my inner turmoil, because I'm at war with myself, I will be at war with you too.
Wow. Desire can become deadly
when your demons aren't dealt with.
When your demons are not dealt with. I had another one. A desperate place is a dangerous place.
Oh, I might have to preach that.
When you're desperate for something, you're in a dangerous position. And listen, if your first marriage didn't work out, what are the odds of the second marriage working out? We go to the second marriage in a worse condition than you went into the first one, and you have more baggage, and you have more negative experiences and memories to take into this relationship. The odds are stacked against you even higher. Now, I'm not saying the second marriage can't work out, because I think if you take the time to heal, and like the sister from Nashville was saying, she's evaluating herself. You know, what is wrong with me? If you take the time to go through that process, then a lot of times that second marriage is real sweet because you have that experience. But that's if you allow it that process. If you don't, you are that much more likely to get divorced, and that much quicker.
Yeah.
Because divorce the second time around it's just easier. You've done it once.
Because it's like, hey.
Yeah, like I got through the first one, we'll get through this again.
The first one didn't kill me, this one won't either.
Exactly.
But what we have to do is that we have to learn what a healthy love looks like. And sometimes when we've never had that example of what healthy love looks like, all I do is imitate what I've always seen. If I grew up in a house and my father cheated, or my mother was threw pots and pans around, well, that's all I know, and then that becomes my normal. And so I'm always going to seek that because that's what I'm comfortable with. You know, it's funny. Like my older sister that's watching, my older sister, she's the type, she gets up, she's married, and she'll get up, cook. She may cook cinnamon bread in the middle of the night, and I like to eat. You know, but it's easy for me to say, well, hey, I want a woman who'll get up and make me a pecan pie in the middle of the night, or a banana pudding, because that's what my sister does for her husband.
Right.
And we bring that example, that unrealistic example of, well, maybe you don't know how to make a banana pudding.
Why are you talking about banana pudding, George?
Because you know, there's something
Why?
about banana pudding.
Why?
Banana pudding is like the world's greatest dessert. Hallelujah. Somebody can say amen to that.
Yes, I made 2 banana puddings last
Should have made
week.
3. One more for the Holy Ghost.
Oh my God. I gained 4 pounds off of that banana pudding.
But see, what you should have brought them both to me so I could protect you from your appetite.
Yes. But, you know, you're talking some good stuff when you're talking about, you know, the desperation and not moving on the hill. And we talked about how we find our validation in that next relationship. Let's see, Victor that fell off, he's typing his comment. He says, show me 2 people that's not indifferent, and I will show you 2 people that can experience fruit and purpose. Yeah.
I want to shout out to my brother Jarrell who's watching. Listen, see, our father is a legend. And so what happens is all of us sons, at some point, we try to live up to the legend of who daddy is. And I'm not going to just put my daddy out here like that, because I love my daddy.
So part of that ties into, Victor said, our differences strengthen and make a relationship. Yeah, and sometimes, you know, we are looking for somebody that's just like us. And I think that's really a problem. I remember, you know, somebody that I was real close friends with. We're very, very similar. We have similar ministry passions, and he thought for that reason that we'd make a great couple, and I knew for that very reason that we'd make a terrible couple. Because we had the same ministry pursuits with the same level of intensity and passion. If we both going to be laying here prostrate all day, nobody's going to eat, the oil's not going to get changed, the house won't get clean. You know what I mean? If we both are passionate, you know, and want to be the head apostle, then nobody's going to ever serve. You know what I mean? I mean, that was just like total headbutting.
Been there, done that.
No, we can't both be. You can't have two alpha males in a relationship.
No, you can't, because there will always be conflict. What we don't know, a lot of times when we're chasing love, we're not even looking at compatibility. I'm looking at, that's what I want, so I gotta have it. You know, whether it fits or not, it would like me. I wear size 10. It doesn't matter how good a pair of size 8s or a pair of size 14s look. It's not going to fit me. It's incompatible with who I am and what I am. But we assume, especially as men, I see a woman I want. And in my mind, oh, I can be everything she needs because, hey, she ain't never had nothing like me.
Right, and that takes me back to when we met. I
thought we were past that.
I never forget.
Let's walk on down the road from there.
I have a
Jack and Jill went up the hill.
I have a permanent bookmark in my brain. I use your conversation. But no, I mean, and the reason I kind of wanted to bring this forward because I think social media tends. This lady wrote a comment on Facebook that I thought was so powerful. She said that social media gives us keyboard courage.
It really does. It really.
Yeah.
Everybody's a warrior.
I think that social media gives me courage to, and not that you fall in this category.
Yeah, because I'm bold no matter what, 20 hours a day, whenever you see me. I'm just that guy.
But social media gives men the courage to approach women that they might not normally speak to because they're hiding behind the keyboard, they're hiding behind the screen, they're hiding behind instant messenger, and so they have the courage to reach out and approach a woman that if that same woman was walking down the street, they wouldn't even talk to her. Mm-hmm. And you know, you have a lot of that going on where men or women, I think the same thing goes for women, but I think it might be a little more so for men. But men or people have a tendency to build themselves up in their minds, and it's a really fantastic type of way detached from the reality of who they really are, where, you know, because I had the courage to send you an instant message and you gave me a thumbs up, you know, I know that we can roll now. You know what I mean? You about to be my bae.
Yeah, you know, me and we have it. If you respond, I got you.
Right,
right. You know, I used to say, hey, look, if no, I can't say that on there. If I can get you to smile,
come on, say it.
I can get something else.
I want to hear the hashtag no socks.
If I can get you to smile, I can get you to something else. And because what happens is that it's every man, I don't care who he is, has this macho image of himself. The whole, I'm John Wayne, I'm going to come out and I'm going to wipe out all the enemies. Every man thinks of himself like that. Not every man can express himself like that. Every man considers himself, you know, that's why men will, on a Sunday morning, will put on a jersey and root for their favorite football team or their favorite sports team. Why? Because they vicariously live through that triumph. And so as men, we tell ourselves, I'm a warrior. I'm a conqueror. I am a conquistador.
So was me treating you like a friend? Because I always was really, really, by the way, just really impressed with the substance of you, the depth of the revelation. I mean, George can revelate about a freaking square of toilet paper. I kid you not. An empty gum wrapper, the leaf of a plant. I can bring up any topic and George can pull a kingdom revelation always real impressed with that. But for me, you were always just a friend to me. And for you, you know, the pursuit was something else. And what I'm asking you, the fact that I treated you like a friend with kindness and respect, but made it clear that it was just friendship. Yeah. Did that incite you the more to?
At one point, it did, because I felt like, wait a minute. She obviously does not know who she's talking to. Because, you know, after all, I am George Baker. I mean, after all, I didn't know there was something in the water down here in Texas. I don't know if you had been lobotomized. I did not know. I felt like, there's got to be something wrong with this woman, because nobody says no to me. And what it really is, it becomes a defense mechanism. I'm going to be real transparent for a second.
Okay.
I from time to time I talk to a therapist. She's a good friend of mine, and she's listening. Christy, thank you. And she told me, she said, you know what you are is a collector. It's not really even about love. It's that you have to see, can you get a woman? How many women can I get? You know, at one time, it was like, I thrived on the attention. And so when you didn't give me the attention, I felt like, okay, let me find a way, because I need her attention, because obviously she's unaware of who's talking to her.
Now, you know what? Let me jump in right there. You said something so good. You said you need my attention. When the truth of the matter is, you had my attention. And that takes me back to what we said earlier, that you're looking for something, that people are often looking for something without even having an accurate definition of it. So when they find it, they can't even identify it. You were trying to capture my attention, but you had my attention. I don't talk to people on social media. Nobody gets my phone number. A phone call from me? Are you kidding?
Well, we know, because you don't. Because your callback game is.
Yeah, it's a little better now with you. But here you were, you know, chasing something that you had already captured, and because you couldn't identify it once you had it, you continued to chase it instead of nurturing what you had already captured. And it reminded me, because I'm going to be like real transparent now. I can be real transparent. There was a point in our relationship where I felt like, I think I would consider George. I think I really would. I was looking for, you know, marriage at that time. I think I would consider it. But it reminded me of when they were praying for Peter's release from prison. And here he is, they have prayed and fasted for Peter to get out of prison. And here he is pounding on the door, and they slam the door in his face and continue to pray. So you were trying to capture an attention that you already had, and you were so enamored with the chase that you preferred to continue to pursue than to enjoy what had already, you know, what you had already captured.
And that is one of the great dangers of being a love chaser, is that you don't know how to turn the chase off.
Wow. That's good.
So when I catch you, I need something else to chase, because it's about, you know, it's kind of like the fishermen who catch the fish then let it go. You know, because it's really not about the fish. It's about showing that I have the skills to get this fish out of the water, and so I'm going to let it go. And you know, it's only been recently that I really learned how to effectively just be friends with a woman. Because my thing always was, for years, was that, hey, if we can't be lovers, we can't be friends. I don't need any more friends.
Right. And it's funny because my philosophy is completely different. If we can't be friends, we definitely can't be lovers.
But see...
Now, there's a question for you,
yes.
Mr. Baker.
Okay.
The question is, oh my gosh, I can't even read that. Here, you read it.
Okay. Question is, how do you overpower your hormones that you were in bondage to when you are in the atmosphere with a beautiful woman as your host example. Okay.
Wait, read the last one. Real talk.
Real talk.
Yeah.
Real talk.
Hashtag no sock.
Real talk.
Okay, but
As a man, you really have to learn how to be the man that I say I am. I had to learn that I am more than just my sexual performance. And I had to learn how to relate to women. Transparent moment. In my life, I've had women buy cars for me. And I don't dress cheap. So it was nothing, I got took on shopping sprees. Buy me 10 suits with shoes to match. And I had to learn. See, when you understand the true value of a woman, then you learn how to treat her correctly. The Bible says that a virtuous woman is a crown unto her husband. So understand this, that I had to learn how to treat a woman like a throne instead of a thrill.
Wait. Say that again. Where's the offering?
I had to learn how to treat a woman as a throne instead of a thrill.
Wow.
Because even you could think that you are the greatest Mac in the world, but you're only what a woman allows you to be. See, as men, we think that we make the woman, but the right woman. Think like God said, it's not good for man to be alone. He made a woman for that man. He made a woman to fulfill a specific purpose in that man's life, and she made all the difference. Oftentimes, as men, we don't allow women to occupy their proper place and position in our lives.
So he said, because Victor's trying to have conversation here now. He said, but you're still learning, my brother. I've done that too, but I still
we're always going to myself get cast away. So I see God for myself every day because I know the mess I can be without God's grace. I know. Matter of fact, not even the mess I can be, the mess I want to be. I want to be a mess. If I had the ears, I would do the food, but just I have come to the same anointing that I pray under, it also anointed me to have self-control. One of the fruits of the Spirit is self-temperance. That's self-control.
Right.
And so as I'm developing my spiritual life, self-control becomes part of it. The Apostle Paul says, all things lawful and expedient, but I will not be brought under the power of any. I have, what I'm doing, anything that could be a bondage, I avoid it.
Right.
You're not going to see me. I'm there's some folks, like in the movie Waiting to Exhale, when West Side and they put clothes in there together. No, that couldn't be me. No. I don't even play with stuff like that. No. And that has nothing that has no bearing on how much I love God or don't. I just know me.
And I want to speak to that also. I want to speak to that issue as well. I think one of the things that helped me, I remember one particularly situation that I was in with the man of God, where I thought that I might fall it was my perspective of him as God's son, as his vessel, as his temple, that tempered me. That when I looked at him as a part of the body of Christ and one of my brothers, and I understood that making this sexual action that would have temporarily gratified my flesh was going to diminish the power on his life. Knowing that he would have to get up and preach Sunday morning, because this was a preacher, knowing that he was going to have to get up and preach with the weight of condemnation, that I've created warfare in his life now that I know he will recover from, but I've created warfare. I've now been an instrument of Satan. You know, the Bible says we shall know the truth and the truth shall make us free, Victor. And sometimes it's just the confrontation of the truth, of that raw truth, of that ugly truth. That if I lay down with this person that is my friend, that I'm very sexually tempted with, I have just become an instrument of Satan. I want to be a vessel of God. I want to be a temple of the Holy Spirit. If I do this, then I am a weapon of the kingdom of darkness now. And I'm supposed to be standing against darkness. So I got to talk to myself like that. Because sometimes we look at sin only for the pleasure principle. We're only looking at the temporary gratification that we're going to get from the flesh. And we don't address reality of the aftermath of it. But I think that if we keep the aftermath forever before us, if we remember really that sin is death, if we remember the consequences of it, if I remember the consequences of cussing somebody out, of getting in the fight, of stealing that thing from the store, of cheating on my taxes, you know, I begin to remember what integrity really costs me. What it really costs to lie, what it really costs to lay. You know, when I keep that before me, that is what really wins the battle a lot of times. Because when we are renewed, when we are transformed by the renewing of the mind, that is when the grace, which is the empowerment of God, that's when the grace really enters in and lifts us above that thing. And grace will really minister to you if you allow it to come in. But if you meditate on the weakened condition of the flesh, if you meditate on what you want, if you meditate on what you think you're missing out on, then that's where the defeat comes in, because we rehearse in our minds over and over again how much we want this or how much I'm missing that.
You know, you can, I say this, that you can live one of two ways. You can live sin conscious or you can live grace conscious. The Bible tells us that where sin did abound, grace did abound much more. If I spend my time dwelling on my sinful nature, my weakness, the Bible tells us that as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So if all I'm thinking about, I'm weak, that I'm going to fall, then guess what? You're going to fall.
Right.
But if I say the grace of God is upholding me every day, then guess what? Then grace is going to hold me up. Because I put a demand on the grace of God to make me better than I am and really better than I want to be.
Right. Let me go to this question. Let's see. She says, I thought you had to be on the same level spiritually for your relationship to work. What do you mean by it can't be two alpha males? Oh, she was responding to what I said earlier. You can't have two alpha males in a relationship. Well, first of all, I wasn't talking about two men, because that's just out, period, to begin with. But I'm meaning that when you have two dominant personalities, you know, when you have two dominant leaders in a relationship, then nobody knows how to fall back and allow somebody to lead in the things of the kingdom. Or if you have two passives in a relationship, then nobody, what do you want to eat, honey? I don't know. What do you want to eat? Well, I'll go where you go. Well, let's go where you want to go, dear. Last time, you know, I mean, it's like you can never make a decision. You can never move past that point, you know. And so with relationships, I think we need to think about, I always think about the perfect way that Yahweh designed a man and a woman, how those bodies fit so perfectly together, how a woman's body is cut out in such a way where a man can seamlessly enter into her, that God deliberately created a hole in her so that the man's part that was extending outward could fit into that hole. And I think that is a really, really poignant picture supposed to fit together in relationships, that we should be like a hand in a glove. You know, if the fingers of a glove were pulled backward, how would you get your hand to it? There has to be a cutout for the fingers so you can slip your hand into the glove. And that's the way we need to fit each. So we can't be exactly alike, or we don't fit either. We don't fulfill.
That is one of the that because you look for something. And so they you that you don't like, you will eventually not like about them. You know, she's like, she has the same issues. She gets mad, she'll cuss me out like I get mad and cuss myself out.
Mm-hmm.
And so now the one that I used to love so much, now you're reminding me too much of myself.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
and so I gotta go.
I gotta go. And you know what? We're going to talk about that a little bit more after this break, because that gave me a thought when you said that in order to deal with somebody's issue, you got to be delivered from that issue.
Yes.
Our first caller talked about you have to know what you can handle. I can walk somebody through a deliverance that I've already been through. Mm-hmm. And I thought about that instantly when you talked about, you know, people cussing each other out, because that used to be my thing. I mean, I was, man, my tongue was a weapon. It was a deadly. The same way I use it to empower people now, I used it to destroy. And being delivered from that, I
never would have guessed.
Man, please. I was a nasty little thing. But let's talk about that some more when we come back. You know what? We're talking about being love chasers, but we have about 20 minutes left in the show, and I want to talk about how do you move past that? You know, what is the solution? We brought the problem to the table. Well, what do you do now? How are we going to rectify this? How do you get to the point that you need to be where you're actually pursuing the right thing? So we're going to talk about that. You're listening to Inspired Intimacy Talk Radio with your host, Dr. Intimacy co-producer, Mr. J. Revival. My special guest, George E. Baker. We're having naked discussions about love, life, and intimacy. Hashtag no socks. And it has been transparent, no
yes,
socks.
It has.
I thank you so much, George, for your transparency and just allowing us to use some experiences from your life as a point of reference. I really, really appreciate that. But when we come back, we're going to talk about, you know, how you can walk somebody through a deliverance that you've been through and what it really takes to stop being a love chaser. How do you get to that healthy place? How does the heart heal so you will be able to love again, or maybe even love for the first time? Because maybe after listening to this, you realize that you've never loved change, that you've never loved at all to begin with. So
it can happen.
So yeah, so we'll talk about that right after the break. This is Inspired Intimacy with your host, Dr. Intimacy. Hey, Facebook Live, you guys having a good time tonight? Jarrell. Is that how you say your brother's name, Jarrell? He should be in the studio.
Yeah, come on. Because see, Jarrell is still Mackie. See, I'm retired. I have retired, so he took it over.
Thank you so much for your contributions, Victor. I appreciate you. You guys got some good comments coming. Stefane, see, non-believers date for sex, pride, etc. Real believers, though, walk by the Spirit. Yep. Shanta R. Green, enjoying the show. What's up, Shanta? Thank you. Chelsea, throne instead of a thrill. Yeah, she said yes. That was good, wasn't it? I'm trying to have the best one-liner for tonight, but it's really hard when George is here. I just can't do it. He is the king of one-liners.
I am just.
Love your substance, though. I do.
All I know is just how to do what I do.
Good show. Thank you, Jarrell. Oh, you can speak for the younger generation, huh?
Yeah, he really can.
How old is he?
26 or 27. My daddy had so many kids.
Apples with peanut butter.
No, that's not nasty. You think the apples are nasty?
It tastes like
Delicious.
28. What the hell? Wait a minute. Yeah, that's right. 'Cause he was born when I was 20. Okay. Yeah. 'Cause I'll be 48. Oh, geez, I'm getting old.
This song is serious. You act like you're 38, Jerome.
That's what he said. Man, please,
He
go
said so,
on
you
with that,
say.
dude. Go on with that.
Here we go.
All right, everybody. This is Dr. Intimacy. You're listening to Inspired Intimacy Talk Radio, where we're having naked discussions about love, life, and intimacy. Hashtag no socks right here on FBRN.US in the Blue Bowl, broadcasting live from the beautiful city of Arlington, Texas. I'm enjoying my co-host tonight, or my special guest.
Thank you.
You've been here enough times for me to definitely consider you family. I think it's your 4th time on the show, right? 4th or 5th?
Something like that. Have such a good time, I don't even count anymore.
Well, this is George E. Baker III. He's definitely family by now, so I'm enjoying having you on the show tonight. Confessions of a Love Chaser, when the unhealed heart tries to love again. And we brought so much to the table tonight. Look, I was eating peanut butter during the break, so now I'm like trying to swallow it. Water. But we brought so much to the table tonight that we need people move from this place now of being love chasers to getting into a healthy situation, getting past the brokenheartedness, so that people can really be in a healthy relationship, so that we're not waiting for things like Valentine's Day and Christmas. And you know, when Valentine's Day happens and our birthdays, a lot of times we're just like, well, next year. I mean, I remember years just going through this whole thing when Valentine's Day didn't work out the way I wanted it to. I'm already, planning or fantasizing, because it's really not a plan. You can't plan somebody falling in love with you. Hello.
No, we can't.
But
we try though.
Right. You can't plan that, but here I am already fantasizing about what's gonna happen on next Valentine, on my next birthday, on the next Christmas. This Christmas didn't work out the way I wanted it to, so I'm gonna fantasize about next Christmas. And how do we get past that place of chasing this false ideal or concept of love? Because that's what the show is about tonight. Confessions of a Love Chaser, when the unhealed heart tries to love again. How do we get out of this phase or this mentality where we're chasing this false ideal of love and really going through the healing process that we need to go through, so that first of all we can understand what love really is, we can walk in love and what love really is, and we'll be able to define it and identify it when we find it. Speak to that.
One thing what is working for me, what is working for me, is that you go through a period where you literally have to withdraw from everything, because I spent so much time chasing a love that one, I wasn't even sure that it really even existed, and wouldn't have recognized it had I found it. All because I never worked on me. I spent so much time believing my own lies about how great I was, so that I never took the time to work on me. And so when you take the time to work on yourself, then you will find that the actual love that you really need is, first you have to love yourself, because if I don't know how to love myself, I will never be able to effectively show someone else how to love me.
Wow, that is so good. Hi, caller. You're live on the air with Dr. Intimacy and George Baker. Did you call to join our naked discussion?
Oh, Dr. Intimacy and Revival. This is Nathan Frazier from Washington, D.C.
Oh, my goodness. Nathan Frazier. Wow.
But I told myself I was going to call, and I looked up at the watch so much time. I told the truck to stop to make sure I had a chance to get my call in. I know you guys are kind of short on time, but I wanted to contribute from a personal perspective, something that happened in my life. I don't normally go personal, but I think it would be apropos to the conversation. And it just might help somebody, okay? You know, I kind of struggled with what I was going to share tonight, but I think I will go ahead and do that.
Okay, give it to us in about 60 seconds, if you can.
Okay, 60 seconds, all right. My wife died about 7 years ago, okay? And one of the things that we embarked on was a way to maintain the excitement and the refreshing newness between us, particularly when it came to intimacy, okay? We start out with a situation as most, couples do. You basically come home, you jump on each other 2 or 3 times a day, 7 days a week, so we realized that wasn't going to work. So what we did was we embarked on a contract, and we signed this contract, actually sat down in the middle of the bed, both of us, signed this contract out that from now on, when I approached her, I would actually be approaching a temple. I would be the high priest, okay? She would be the temple. And when I went into this woman, I would go into her to worship, all right? So once we committed ourselves to that, it developed a discipline, because for one, there was not the need we felt to constantly jump each other like rabbits, okay? Sex actually did turn into intimacy. It actually did cross the line, I believe, into the area of romance and love, because my thoughts about her was the exact same thoughts I felt that a high priest had when he entered the temple to worship God. That's the most sacred. I believe in any man's mind that would be the most sacred act he could perform. Going into the temple.
So Nathan, let me ask, so you could go into kind of a deep place. Are you saying?
Okay, well, no, I know. I talk, so I'm gonna cut it off.
No, that's good. I mean, it's a little bit deeper than what we were talking about, but let me ask you about it, because we're talking about Confessions of a Love Chaser, and when the unhealed heart tries to love again. Do you feel like you entered into your marriage maybe not in the healthiest place, and that led to lust-driven sex as opposed to loving sex? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I think 99% of people, unless they really have a good, solid spiritual foundation, I mean, a lot of us are given by the flesh and for the flesh. So,
But I'm asking specifically about you, because you talked about your situation. Did entering into the marriage in an unhealthy place, I'm asking, I don't know, lead
I would
to...
say so. I would
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay.
I would say so. I would say so. Absolutely.
So you were able to rectify that within the confines of the marriage by changing your perspective of why you were having sex with her.
No, me and her, and I think a commitment to God did that, coming into an agreement, a covenant. It was actually a covenant. That's what it was. And I think that studying covenants in the Bible will help you in a lot of areas, but specifically in that area. And I think that, I know for a fact that gave us longevity in the marriage, and I know I'm probably overshooting my time, right?
Wow, well, thank you that was very powerful and insightful. I know you're working, so you haven't had a chance to hear the whole conversation tonight, but that nugget was really powerful, and I can use it to help close this out tonight. So I really appreciate you sharing that and being so transparent. And I think I have to have you on the show just so we can talk about that the whole show, because I think a lot of people are like 2 to 3 times a day, 7 days a week. I want that. But thank you so much, Nathan. I appreciate you, and I will talk to you again soon. Wow, that was very insightful what he was talking about, because we're talking about how to move beyond being a love chaser now, and what are some of the things that we have to do. And one of the issues with being a love chaser is sexual issue. It's the second. In minds of people, to do a whole show on is how fornication is not what we call it. Fornication is not premarital sex. It's illicit sexual activity, which can actually happen within the confines of marriage. You can still fornicate even though you're married, and a lot of people don't realize that fornication can happen in the marriage bed. And that's really what he was saying there. When you enter into the marriage in an unhealthy place, so maybe that love chasing actually led to walking down the aisle. It actually led
prematurely, and
it led to the altar. It still didn't lead to wholeness.
You know, one of the things, and it's one I try to tell. A lot of times, women will tell a man that you can't get into this unless you marry, and he'll marry you just to get it. And then, but he hasn't stopped doing anything he did. Because all he wanted, because marriage then became a means to an end.
Ooh, wow.
It became this woman that is not sleeping with anybody else. I know she's going to be faithful to me. So if I have to marry her to lock her down, well, I'll marry her. But I'm still going to do me.
Right. So how do we have 10 minutes. Okay. I really want to focus on solutions.
Solutions. I think the first solution is, first of all, becoming whole in yourself and having people in your life that hold you accountable to a higher standard. I have people in my life that are watching me, and that if I do something out of character, they can call me and say, "Hey, George, no." And you have to allow people. You have to allow the people that you love and that truly love you, and that love you without any intention, love you without any expectation of, I love you because you do this for me, but love you because they love you, to even address issues within yourself. Hey, you're not ready for that. One of the hardest things was one of my mentors now kind of has me at, okay, what I need you to do is just sit down, take a break from things for a while. Now, the man I am, wait a minute, I'm real grown. What accountability says, I have to honor what she says, because I know that she loves me, and it's not about anything I'm doing for her.
Wow.
And when you have people in your life like that, they push you and pull you to be greater than you are, even than you see yourself, because they see something in you that maybe you don't see.
Okay, so having accountability is one of the things. Having loving yourself. You were talking about that before Nathan called, and that is key. Don't look for a love outside of you that you haven't discovered inside of you.
Exactly.
Don't look for a love outside of you that you haven't discovered inside of you. The greatest love of all in your life, outside of your personal relationship with God, needs to be your personal relationship with yourself. And how are you going to have an intimacy with an external person when you haven't developed that intimacy intrinsically? You don't like your own company, you don't like yourself, you don't love yourself, but you are trying to cultivate a love with somebody when you don't even have the ingredients of love in you? You know, how can you bake a cake when you don't have floured eggs and sugar? So how are you going to cultivate this love? Or let's go back to George, banana pudding. How are you going to make a banana pudding when you don't have any bananas?
How can you do it?
And
How?
so you need to have within yourself the ingredients or the elements of a whole love before you can try to cultivate love outside of yourself. George is saying that you need to have accountability. You need to have people around you. And not only accountability, but if you're going to get mentorship, you know, remember Paul said that you have many mentors. Not many fathers, but you have many mentors. If you're going to have somebody mentor you, don't try to have one person that mentors you in everything unless you're dealing with somebody that is extremely gifted. You need people that are going to mentor you that specialize in that area.
Exactly.
So if you're having issues with being a love chaser, you need somebody to mentor you that has already conquered that particular area. Somebody that's in a healthy marriage. You don't want somebody in a bitter marriage mentoring you about relationships. You don't want somebody that's promiscuous mentoring you about how to temper your flesh. So you need to reach for accountability with somebody that has already conquered that issue. And that's what I was saying earlier, that I can walk somebody through a deliverance that I've already been through.
Exactly. And we need, and I think, and especially among men, because we are some of the most notorious love chasers. We need to see other men in healthy relationships. We need men that model healthy relationships, that model healthy love. One of the things they do, they protect the blood supply. If I wanted to go give blood today, before they let me give blood, they're going to take a sample, make sure that I'm free from disease. What happens when my love is infected? Now I'm giving you a tainted love. That was a song back in the day. I'm giving you a tainted love that eventually is going to make you sick of love. Because you're going to say, if this is love, I don't want it. But I've given you all I have to give. How many people have gotten sick? Arthur Ashe got
So what's
HIV.
the solution? We got just a couple of minutes.
So the solution becomes, make sure you're healthy before you try to love someone else. Or else you're going to infect them with the virus of your deadly and toxic love.
And being around, we talked about that brokenness when the unhealed heart tries to love again. You need to be in an environment, and George talked about this earlier, where you can express a healthy love. You need to be in an environment where not only you can receive love from somebody without an agenda, but you need to be in an environment where you can experience giving unconditional love without an agenda. And that means you need to love people that you're not looking for anything in return from. You need to go love on some homeless people. Love on some orphans. I mean, you really need to experience giving unconditional love, because one of the characteristics of a love chaser is that a love chaser only gives love for the potential reward.
Yes.
And so one of the ways that you're going to get delivered from that and healed from that is giving love without looking for anything in return. So you need to go love something that's unlovable. You really want to get delivered from love chasing, go love on your ex-husband or your ex-wife. You know, go love somebody that you know you can't. Not only can you not get love back from that person, you wouldn't want love from them if they were willing to give it to you. I mean, you really need to stretch your capacity to love beyond what it has been before, because you can't enter into a relationship and love somebody from a pure place if you're only loving expecting something in return.
Exactly. And when love then becomes devoid of expectation, it can now become what it's meant to become. Because when I release my love to a person, now, and I'm not expecting, okay, well, I want you to love me back, or I want you to go there, I want you to do this for me, or I want you to do that. When I cancel my expectation, now what I'm able to do is experience the life-giving, life-changing power of love. because love is transformative. Love will turn you into something you've never been.
That's so true. Wow, wow, wow. And then another issue that we brought out earlier, one of the characteristics of a love chaser, was that we define our value based on our ability or capacity to make somebody else whole, and so we deliberately attract or seek out broken people. So the remedy to that, you need to find your value in your purpose. You need to find that value within yourself, not in any way connected to anything external, anything that you're doing for somebody else. Your value has to be in the pureness of your creation. The fact that you were born and sent to the earth, your value has to be right there. So you cannot look for your value or your validation in how well you are able to love that person. And we've come all the way down to the end of the show tonight. Confessions of a Love Chaser, when the unhealed heart tries to love again. I thank George E. Baker III for sending tonight's special guest, and transparency and sharing the substance was so deep. And I'm so glad to have you as my friend. And I'm glad that you changed me. Whatever your agenda was, I'm just glad that you're in my life, because you are truly, truly a treasure, and I value you so much. My life would not be the same without you. Definitely one of the most important people in my world. So I thank you for being here, and thank you for blessing my listeners tonight. Of course, J Revival always here helping out. I just want to wrap this topic up. Confessions of a Love Chaser, when the unhealed heart tries to heal. And the bottom line is this: we don't have to chase love, because love has already found us. The Bible says that God is love, and he chased us down. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever should believe in him would not perish but have eternal life. So the good news is, you don't need to chase love. Love chased you and it found you. If you are a born-again believer, if you have accepted Jesus Christ, Yeshua HaMashiach Adonai, as your Lord and Savior, love has already found you. So you don't need to chase love any longer. What you need to do instead of chasing love is pursue purpose. So you need to replace love chasing with the pursuit of your purpose. You need to understand why you're on this earth, why you were born, because it says before he formed you in your mother's womb, he already knew you and called you by name. Before you were ever conceived, love was already chasing you down. It was already hunting you down. So what you need to do is pursue purpose. And in pursuing purpose, the love of your life will discover you. So I just want to thank you all for tuning in tonight. This is Dr. Intimacy. You've been listening to Inspired Intimacy Talk Radio right here on Fishbowl Radio Network. In the Blue Bowl, we have naked discussions about love, life, and intimacy. #NoSocks every Wednesday night from 9 to 11 p.m. Be sure to join us next week, and thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Facebook Live. Great show, great comments. I appreciate you guys always.
That was a great ending, too.
Yes, it was.
Yes. I'll see you guys next week. Make sure you share this video. Okay?